Finding ʻOli, Part 3. And then came the good news. George called to report the veterinarian's findings. ʻOli would be fine. She had a large abscess on her neck, which the doctors had drained. He placed her on antibiotics, and he expected her to fully recover. Anita felt a relief beyond words. But there was more thrilling news. Anita learned that ʻOli was probably around 6 years old. Anita had been almost 5 when she saw those first baby turtles leave their nest. Now she was almost 11, 6 years older. She was certain that ʻOli was one of those turtles she had seen march down to the ocean on that moonlit night. Her wish had come true. Tingling with excitement, Anita waited, straining to see the first sign of an approaching car. It had been 5 agonizing days. Her mother, Cheryl, and Jake stood with her. Cheryl smiled at Anita in her eagerness. "Not long now, Anita. ʻOli will soon be home." At last George appeared, carrier in hand. Glynis, Steve, and Eston, with the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, USFWS, Dawn Patrol, were also there to help. Anita ran to greet her beloved turtle. ʻOli's neck was almost back to its normal size, but her shell looked so dry. Anita could hardly wait to see her return to the ocean where she belonged. Steve placed ʻOli gently on the waves, and they all swam a little way alongside her. ʻOli looked around in a puzzled way, trying to get her bearings. Anita held her breath. Under water, her mother gave her hand an encouraging squeeze. The suspense was beginning to tie a knot in Anita's stomach when all of a sudden, flippers prepared for the takeoff, and whoosh! ʻOli jetted toward the open sea. Anita had never seen a turtle swim so fast. ʻOli was home. As they bobbed to the surface, they clapped and cheered, sharing in ʻOli's joy. Feeling the familiar waters embrace her body and soothe away the dry scales that covered her shell, ʻOli said her own turtle prayer of thanks. Her frightening adventure was fading like a troubled dream, but she had seen that the world was a much bigger place than she could have ever imagined, and she felt the wonder of it. ʻOli sped out into the sunlit waters, farther out than she had ever been before. A new, exciting life awaited her. Days passed. Anita returned again and again to the reef, but she could not find ʻOli. For the 100th time, she asked her mother, "Do you think ʻOli is okay? How will we know if she really survived?" "We just have to have faith and hope for the best," her mother replied, knowing that this was not the assurance Anita was hoping to hear. Anita called on her friends to help. Everyone on the beach was given a description of the little hawksbill turtle. Anita, Cheryl, and her turtle team spent hours at a time in the ocean hoping to find ʻOli. And then one morning, when summer was almost over, Anita woke with a new feeling of certainty. "This will be the day. Today I will find ʻOli." She hurried down to the beach. Where to look first? Anita and her wonderful Auntie Miley looked in all the usual places, but no ʻOli. They swam farther out than they had ever been before. Their eyes searched the dip and rise of every wave, each nook and cranny of the reef below. Suddenly there was a little hawksbill swimming not far away. It moved gracefully, sweeping back and forth around heads of coral and through schools of colorful fish. Could it possibly be? Yes, it was ʻOli. Anita's heart burst with delight. ʻOli swam to her and seemed to say, "I have missed you too, but I've been on a wonderful journey." Epilogue. 15 years later, under the light of a full moon, a turtle named ʻOli is carried to shore on a gentle wave. She is returning to Big Beach on the island of Maui, where she was born, where her mother was born, where her babies will be born. With her powerful flippers, she makes her way across the sand to the shade of the kiawe trees, digs her nest, and lays her eggs. Then she covers the nest with sand and returns to the sea. The following morning at dawn, a young woman named Anita steps out of the deep woods onto the beach and sees the clear, familiar markings in the sand. She makes a careful note of the location of the new nest. At the appointed time, she will return with a few friends to wait and to watch as these hatchlings greet the world for the first time. More information about hawksbill turtles. The hawksbill turtle, Eretmocheles imbricata, is perhaps the most critically endangered of the marine turtles. It gets its name from the unique hawk-like shape of its mouth. This turtle has long been hunted for its beautiful layered shell known as tortoiseshell. That's illegal now. Today, predators on land and at sea, coastal development, habitat degradation, trash and pollution, plus new ocean conditions due to climate change are challenging the survival of hawksbills around the world. Please help us find ʻOli. If you are lucky enough to spot a Hawaiian hawksbill, please send your photographs to Cheryl, who runs the statewide photo ID catalog, 1998 to present. She'll compare the turtle's facial and flipper scale patterns, which are unique to each turtle, to identify which individual it is. If it's ʻOli, MUI 27, or any of the other hawksbills we already know, we'll all be so happy to know that it's okay. If it's a new turtle to the catalog, you get to choose a name for it. All of this information will add to our understanding of this critically endangered species and aid in its protection. To learn more and join our turtle team, please see www.hihawksbill.org. We hope you enjoyed this true story about a little hawksbill sea turtle named ʻOli and the community that cares so much about her and the ocean. Marjorie, Anita, Cheryl, Jake, Miley, George, Glynis, Steve, and Eston.